Welcome back to Dum-Dums and Dragons, where improvisers who've never roleplayed before journey into the world of Dungeons and Dragons. I am the Grand Wizard Bukake, your host. Having escaped the castle and stumbled upon a mysterious Reginald Tingler, our heroes needed to learn more. Reginald revealed he was from an alternate Faerun. Quinny was thrilled and then horrified to find out Reginald is the key to destroying Grayson Typhus's phylactery, and Alan found out Mudbutt is married to her mom? What's this stepdaughter going to do? Find out next on Dum-Dums and Dragons.
Our story begins with a love story, a meet-cute, in fact. We begin in a forest, and it's not just any forest. This is the Forest of Richards, the place where all good Richards originate and where some die. In this particular instance, there is a Richard being sought out for noble purpose, for Mudbutt, King of Winchester, is in need of a new Richard, having had his previous one sacrifice himself valiantly in order to help defeat the villainous Grimebottom. Now, this is some time ago, and the search for a new Richard is not a short one. It is, in fact, a noble quest undertaken by the most noble of dwarves. And so, Mudbutt, having recently survived the battle with your giant zombie father, you were wandering through the woods when you saw an absolutely perfect Richard, just an amazing, amazing replacement Richard. And Adam, what do you think the biggest quality Mudbutt looks for in a Richard is?
Well, one thing is that the Richard also kind of needs to choose you, right? So a lot of it is that you kind of just have to sit and it's, like when the birds of paradise kind of like mate with each other and there's the one bird just doing a bunch of stuff and then there's like the other bird kind of just like sitting there looking at it. So there's a ritual of like just kind of dancing to get like the Richard to come to you. And then so I see this perfect Richard and it's just like start doing the dance. It's just like some twirls and flips and stuff, but then it kind of like just like flies away.
Yeah, I mean, you did a good Richard dance. Like this was a good dance. And Mudbutt, I actually think you're a little bit put out by this because
totally.
Like previous Richard was on board. So with a huff of indignation, you begin to follow that Richard because you kind of want to see, like, it's not so much that you're like going to do anything to this Richard. You just kind of want to know like what the deal is. Like, what's up with this weird bird? And as you're following this Richard, you start to hear the sounds of little cheeping noises, like possibly some baby birds. And it occurs to you that maybe this Richard was just protecting her nest and might not have any interest in becoming someone's Richard today. And as you're kind of moving your way up to the nest, an arm actually shoots out of the trees beside you and stops you. And you see a beautiful elven woman who holds her finger up to her lips and just says, "Quiet, she's feeding them. It's a very delicate phase of the heralds."
What? What the heck? Where'd you come from?
And the bird, the bird flies away and she laughs at you completely ruining her secret bird watching. And she just says, "Sorry, I've been tracking. This is my bird companion Harold. I've been tracking her for quite some time, and it would seem that she's found a nest here in this forest. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to frighten you. My name's Tiana Lyondell. What's your name?"
"Oh, I'm King Mudbutt. Well, I suppose I should say just plain old Mudbutt. I was a king, but well, not anymore." And then I kind of just shrug and
she laughs and she's like, "That's fine. I used to run a temple, and then it burned down. So whoops."
My place burned down too. What a coincidence.
That's so funny. We have so much in common.
Oh my.
Well, listen, you seem like you're trying to find a bird companion like my Harold. You want some help?
Oh, sure. I mean, I need a Richard. Now I'm confused. Is your bird a Harold or is it a Richard that you've named Harold?
Well, I didn't realize that all these birds were called Richard. I just named the bird Harold because I thought it was a cool name.
Oh, well, you are in the Forest of Richard. And just over there is Winchester, which is where my kingdom was. I can show you around if you want.
Oh, that sounds great. Honestly, I've been at loose ends. My My daughter ran away, and my temple burned down. So really, I gotta tell you, I'm just kind of out in the world, trying to find myself and figure out kind of what to do next, trying to get my groove back.
Well, why don't we get lost together? And then I put my arm out so she can like hook her arm around it if she wants.
She does indeed, and then Harold flies down and lands between you and drops a bird into your, like a little baby bird into your hand.
Oh, it's a baby Richard.
And the bird starts dancing, like just little bird dance with like its little tiny like, and it's horrifying. Like it's got the full like fucking like, there's no feathers. It's kind of gooey, and it's just like doing a weird horrifying little dance.
Oh, but I think it's cute. So I put him on a nearby stump. Then I start doing the dance, and so then we're both kind of like. Dancing.
And like Tiana's kind of like linked arms with you, so she's just kind of dancing too, and like Harold starts doing like the wings up and like walking around in circles dance, and the four of you share a dance together, and then finally the little bird bows to you, comes up and goes, eh.
And then to end the ritual, I bring out my flute and I play it and I go. And then he like then he jumps in my beard. It's like, bah! And he jumps in.
And with that, the four of you set out to get lost. Some time has passed, and now, Mudbutt, you've settled into New Winchester with your lovely bride. But the thing that's been bringing you the most angst is that your best friends in the whole wide world didn't respond to your wedding invitation. You sent it to Sister Grail back in Phandalin. You tried sending it a bunch of times, but they just never got back to you. And it was a real bummer. But then you heard Harold swoop down and give out a call of notice. And stumbling out of the bar where you had Fringa beers in each hand, you see your friends. There's your best bud in the whole wide world, Butthole, who was supposed to be your best man, and that was kind of a bummer, but like you're so happy to see him. There's Queenie, who's wearing an eye patch for some reason, but it looks kind of cool, so like that's probably fine. There's some other people you don't give a shit about, but there's also Alan, and you've been waiting to see Alan for some time, because after all, now you're her stepdad. And so, calling out with great excitement, you come rushing over, you embrace them, and where we left off last night, you had just revealed that you had married Alan's mom, who had just stepped out of the new Temple of Ogma she'd built, to Alan's horrified cry of, oh, fuck no, which is where we pick up today. So, Mudbutt, you've just greeted your naked butt for a loincloth. You have beers in each hand, and you've got your little Richard in your beard. And you've just greeted the party. Jenna Lyondell has just stepped out. Alan, you haven't seen your mom since the stack, and she tried to kill you then. But this lady doesn't read as director Lyondell as much as an older but slightly happier version of the woman you remember. But it has been a time. So that's where we pick up. Alan.
I just immediately drop into like a fighting stance and put my hands up, and you see kind of like an electric crackle around them. And I'm just like, explain what the fuck is going on right now.
She goes, Alan, what happened to your hand?
What do you mean?
You have a robot hand.
You know, you've seen this.
She looks very confused and she says, okay, honey, listen, I know.
Don't honey me. Don't like try to kill me and then honey me.
Okay. I know the surprise of me remarrying can be a lot. That's hard on any child. But I want you to know that what I had with your father was very special. But I don't mean to surprise you so much you have a heart attack. I'm not trying to kill you with this news.
Look, you remarrying is so far down the list of priorities right now.
Okay, I'm glad you're alive. What's the problem?
What do you mean? What do you mean you're glad I'm alive?
She kind of looks to you, Mudbutt, with just like she has no idea what the fuck is going on.
I don't know what she's talking about either. I like your glove, by the way.
You're fucking evil. Director of the stack.
Me?
Lady. No, my mother.
Oh.
No, I
Then
run
I
this.
tried to kill you. Then you tried to kill me.
Honey, have you been having those
fuck.
dreams again?
Are you a fucking double?
What are you talking about?
Juniper? Do you...
What's a juniper?
Anything?
Do you need berries? I'm so confused. Why did you run away? I'm pissed too. I've just been being polite because I haven't seen you in a long time. You turned into a real asshole. I guess you take after your father.
Now, hold on a second.
Juniper walks up and pulls out the scroll.
So, Mudbutt, you've never met Juniper before, but she is a... Laura, why don't you give the description?
Wait, who's Juniper?
She's like...
Laura's second character.
My second... Hi. And she's kind of like a hardy, strong, muscular woman, really tanned, got like kind of auburn, fiery-ish hair, kind of... and wears like this chainmail that's kind of like, or I guess she has a breastplate now. Fuck, I forget. Yeah, then she has this like cool armor that's all like, woo, foresty and cool.
Wow.
She's very cool.
That's a pretty sweet armor. I'm half naked right now. Do you have any extra armor that I might be able to put on my body?
Leanne Lionshield begins digging around the carts. Okay, I'm looking.
Thank you.
But yeah, Juniper, you pull out the scroll and you look at it, and there's nothing.
All right.
It still has a picture of Reginald.
Yeah, I've got sorry, Alan, I've got nothing for you here. And Alan's just like, okay, let's just sit and talk this through. So
okay, so Adam, what is the name of the bar in this town, and who runs it?
This is New
Winchester. So this is a town you've built deep in the forest with Tiana, and basically the two of you with some friends you've made along the way have basically built just like a small town. She built a new temple to learning, and you've been kind of living to some extent a retirement life style.
Oh, sweet.
You had your adventures, and you kind of been looking for something, and you kind of found it here. You've got dogs. There are just tons of dogs running around. Maybe that's what Mudbutt does now. He runs like a home for wayward dogs in town. But yeah, it's a small community. Think like a Wild West frontier town where it's just like there's not a whole lot, but everyone's pretty friendly, and it's sort of to a large extent the parts you liked the most about Winchester, like the fellowship and like the drinking halls and all that. It's you've captured that vibe.
Okay.
So that's kind of where you guys are at, and you have scholars come through who tell interesting tales and all that, but. Ultimately, you've been a bit. You're very content with kind of what you found, but you've always been at a bit loose ends because your friends never responded to your call. And I think for someone who enjoys fellowship as much as Mudbutt does, that stung a little. So this is really the missing piece to your adventure, and you have a plan. But we'll get to that in a minute. So what is the name of the bar you think Mudbutt had built here in New Winchester?
It's called Uncle Mudbutt's Booze Barn.
Uncle Mudbutt's Booze Barn.
Yeah, and my logo's on it, and I'm kind of like winking with like a flagon of booze.
It's Booze Barn. Okay, so with kind of just the dogs hang out outside. They just bark when they see fit. It's like the soundtrack.
Yes.
Chuck E. Cheese has those weird animatronic mice. You have just random dogs barking outside the bar.
Yeah.
Okay, so with kind of tension in the air, the party begins to make their way into Uncle Mudbutt's Booze Barn, a subsidiary of Uncle Jim Jim's Rum Shack.
Oh, that was it. Yeah, I was trying to think what it was. I was like,
but you know what, Jim, well, he's dead now, but he was running a place, so it makes sense. He sent you some recipes. You got your own thing up and running. Why just cut out the middleman? Why split the profits? So all of you begin to file in, but it's a bit like when everyone tries, like the night before a wedding, everyone shows up somewhere to have dinner, and it's just like a tremendous amount of people kind of here for a purpose, awkwardly shuffling into a small space, trying not to talk about the thing they're there to talk about. So as everyone kind of files in, and Mudbutt, you yell to the bartender, whose name I will get in a moment. But you do have, in terms of the dum-dums, you have a couple seconds as you're making your way in to talk amongst yourselves. And I think of particular note is what you're going to do about Reginald, because it's very clear that Mudbutt thinks this is Butthole. And Reginald, it's also very clear to you that this is, in fact, the Mudbutt you remember from your dimension. So, party, what are you going to do about... How do you solve a problem like a Reginald?
Yeah, Reginald has been panicking and like hides his hawk skull necklace while the others were talking out front, and is just trying to seem a little smaller and more distant than normal. He's just kind of skulking is a good word. Just it's weird to watch a man that big try to hide behind someone as small as Quinny, but he's going for it.
Okay.
Donkey Jr. is also nervous, and they're both sort of just trying to hang back, but realizing this is going to go down one way or another.
Cool. Goblin Jr. has immediately gone to frolic and play with the other puppers out behind the barn. So some of those barks are his. It's canon now. The ones that sound snarfy. Don't worry about it. Cool. So, great. Mudbutt, for you, this is all very tense. You were really excited to get to share your big plan with them, but now it seems like Alan and her mom need to sort something out, which you kind of knew would happen. You actually you filled Alan's mom in on Alan's adventures with you.
Okay.
Alan's adventure began way back in episode 1 with her running away from home to go explore the human side of her half-elf nature. And try and figure out who her dad was. But her mom was very overprotective and wanted to keep her cloistered in the temple. So as a result, she hasn't seen her mom in 5 seasons. And this is her mom has only received news of her through you, which was very comforting and a nice thing for her. But you always knew that your stepdaughter and your wife were going to have a chat. And it seems like this is it. But you have made a vow to yourself that you are going to be the best goddamn stepfather you can. Despite your relationship basically beginning when she saw you naked in a pool and thus saw her first dick. So like it's we're kind of down the rabbit hole here, but so it goes.
Right.
So you welcome everyone in, and the bartender who is we're gonna say he's like just a very like a plump and smiling elf named Mike Latirius. And he's got kind of like like almost a pompadour haircut, like his hair's just swept up and back. Like tattoos up his arms, wearing like a jean vest that he's got the arms cut off on. He's doing that thing where it just kind of hangs over his gut, but just legitimately a warm presence. You walk in and he's just like, Mudbutt, hey man, you didn't finish your brewskis. Oh, hey, wow, new friends. Hey, come on in, guys. Welcome to Uncle Mudbutt's Booze Barn. I'm Mike Latirius. It's nice to meet you. You can just call me bartender if you want. Doesn't matter. I'm an NPC. All right, let's go. Fringa?
What?
And he kind of like waits for confirmation that you want.
Yeah. And then I'm just like, some rounds of booze for my friend Buttholes and Quinny here, please, and keep it coming.
All right. Any friend of Mudbutt's a friend of mine because I work here and he's my boss. So he starts pouring drinks. Adam, what's the specialty drink at Uncle Mudbutt's Booze Barn?
It's called like the Dad Basher, and it comes with a story about how I beat up my zombie castle dad. It's like tied to the handle. It's like a little kind of like a little thing. It's like, did you know that that King Mudbutt destroyed his dad, who turned into a zombie castle? And it's like, wow. So people learn things. All the drinks are named after adventures I've had.
Oh, amazing. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay. So he pours those, and then he like has to take a minute to like very quickly like tie all of them. He's like, I'm sorry, I didn't have any clean mugs.
I'm
so
like,
just,
come on.
he's like tying as fast as he can. And then he slides the drinks over and he says, and sorry, one for the lady there. And he points at Alan.
Is she talking to her mom right now, or?
You've all just come through the door, so she's about to.
Oh! I thought they were somewhere else.
I was just wondering if you were discluding her because you don't want her
no.
drinking or some weird bullshit.
No, I thought they were in another corner. It's like,
okay, that all makes sense. Okay, great. So,
I mean, everybody gets a drink.
great. So he keeps tying. So Reginald, Quinny, and Mudbutt, you guys all kind of move to a polite distance. And Juniper joins you, and immediately Mudbutt earns some of your respect by just slamming those drinks. Juniper has a hearty constitution, so she's just like,
oh yeah,
right into it.
I think Juniper probably requests the barrel of salted pork to go with it.
All food comes in barrels. It's like apples, ham.
Fantastic. Yeah, the soup is in a small barrel. So he
served from a larger barrel.
Yeah, naturally. They say he carved it from a larger barrel.
A serving barrel.
Yes, like you'd get at Creighton barrel. All
the waiters have to carry a large barrel and then reach into it to pull out smaller barrels to put on the table.
And his uniform under the jean vest is barrel pants.
Yeah, if you look very closely, the plates actually are just incredibly short barrels. Like it's the bottom of a barrel and then like a 1/4 inch of a ring.
Yeah, you had to buy bulk barrels in order to get that many plates because you only get 2 per barrel, but it was worth it.
Mudbutt had to import a hooper.
Yeah. All of the walls are just made of like middles of barrels because they just had all the excess material.
Yeah, it's a Wild
barrel.
West town, except for one small castle, and it's just the local hoopers. He makes so much money that he's got an estate.
It's like adventuring partners keep breaking these for gold. Okay, fantastic. Alan, you and your mom kind of go to hash things out. I think there's kind of a sort of a nook over by the fireplace, and there's a low burning fire there, so you sit down across from each other, and it's one of those sort of classic carved bar tables that has a chessboard. Your mom starts idly setting up a chess game, evoking what the two of you, one of the few ways that you guys kind of enjoyed leisure time together. Most of it was like study and a harsh focus on wizarding and the responsibilities therein. But as she sets it up, she says, so I tried to kill you. Is that what's that about?
Yeah, so I'm thinking that it probably wasn't you.
I am also thinking that, but I'm curious
I went
what
to like
you
an
mean.
alternate dimension.
Oh dear.
And there was a you, and you were pretty fucking evil.
I mean, I always hoped, but life takes you strange ways. What was I doing?
Helping to enslave mages and drain them.
That is a dick move on my part. Did you kick her ass? I hope you kicked her ass.
No. The opposite.
Oh. I mean, I am good at what I do. Alan, you're noticing some strange things about your mom. This is very much, again, a kind of post-midlife crisis mom. Her hair, which you remember always being pulled back into kind of a rigid, tight, scholarly bun, is now kind of shoulder length and has a bit of a wave to it and is actually kind of, in a way, wild and free in a way you didn't expect. There even seems to be some like leaves in it. Mm-hmm. She's dressed much more in a much more relaxed fashion than you're used to. Certainly still in a priest's robe, but think more of like it's closer to like what Luke wore in The Last Jedi. Like it's a functional priest's robe where it's a little hardier. The fabric's a bit more meant for work. Whereas you remember her in very fine, soft, robes that don't leave the temple kind of gear. Yeah. You've also never heard her swear. So there's sort of a marked change here from the woman you knew. She also seems to be smiling more, which is something that you don't really ever remember her doing, period. Mm-hmm. Except when she taught you a rather Socratic lesson. There was that smarmy teacherly smirk of like, put one over on you. Now you've learned. But she is also, you notice, keeping her distance and is not assuming anything. But anyway, so she nods and says, "Okay, well, I guess you're a bit more like your father than I'd hoped. I guess the time has come for me to tell you about him.
Oh, this will be fun.
Yeah. So his name is Avalon Riker.
Okay.
He is. Last I heard, he'd become the head of the Thieves Guild.
Yeah.
And don't quite know how to put this.
To myself, I'm just like wondering. I'm just trying to like make sure that what she's telling me is like checking out.
Yeah, totally.
What everything I know.
She's like, I don't quite know how to tell you this, but he may have broken reality a bit, and that's when Mike Latirius comes over and he's like, "Hey guys, I got your drinks here. Just let me put this barrel down for a second." He puts down a serving barrel and starts taking the drinks out.
I just kind of like stare at Mike.
It's just like that tremendously awkward, like server walked in on a conversation moment. He's like, "Oh, okay. Well, enjoy your dad bashers. Hope that doesn't relate to your conversation at all." And then he walks away. So Tiana goes on to explain that when she met Avalon Riker, he was a dashing, striking, kind of charming rogue, and actually kind of like convinced her to go on an adventure with him, which was something to that point she'd never done. She had also been raised in the Temple of Ogma, in the tradition of Ogma, and had recently accepted a position at the temple you grew up in, Alan, as kind of a this is the wrong term, but she was kind of on her way to being the mother superior of that temple. But she was still young. And basically it was like you'll live here for 20 years and learn the ropes and then you can take over. So they went on a whirlwind adventure. They think like Romancing the Stone or like any of those great sweeping like romantic adventure movies. And she fell hard for him, and he, frankly, seemed to fall pretty hard for her. Until one day, they came for him. And she never got the name of the group, even though she did extensive research into it. But they were a group he feared, and more than almost anything, that he said had been hunting him. And he thought he'd managed to lay low enough by kind of disappearing into the woods on the Sword Coast. But nevertheless, they found him. And when they did, he did what he thought was best for both you, even though you had yet to be born, your mom was pregnant with you, and for your mom. He disappeared. And sure enough, when the figures came, they asked questions that Tiana legitimately had no answers to, and then set out in search of him. The note he left explained that he wasn't from around these parts. He was from a different world. And his greatest dream as an adventurer and explorer was to visit other worlds. And so he worked diligently across time and space with various scientists and wizards and scholars to find a way to visit other worlds. And one day he managed to do it. He managed to break out of his world and into another. Unfortunately, that barrier was a bit more delicate than he thought. And in doing so, he accidentally caused something that your mom refers to as the coming collide. She says that as he continued to live and explore, he gradually came to discover that others had found ways to exploit his research and had found ways to travel between these worlds. And in doing so, he had created a series of tears and fissures that would eventually possibly lead to some rather dire consequences, one of which was this group beginning to hunt him. It seems there are people who keep track of these things, people who try and keep people from breaking through these barriers, and knowing that he will follow him to the ends of the earth to prevent it. And so, Tiana Tiana was left to raise you, a child of two worlds, in a temple, and having seen what a life of adventure and curiosity could lead to, vowed to keep you safe and to teach you the value of study and hermitude, so that these horrible hunters would never find you, and so that you would never experience the heartbreak that she did. So she finishes telling you this, and you come to realize two things. One, from the sounds of things, Riker is much older than he appears, and maybe actually much more powerful than he appears. And two, that if he caused this, he might be part of the solution in stopping it, which of course will be of more interest to Juniper than you.
Yeah.
So obviously there's more to investigate there, but that's kind of what you get from her. So she unfolds that story and then explains how that's kind of why she kept such a firm grasp on you and tried to keep you safe in the best way she knew how. But when the temple was destroyed by a group she refers to as the Unseen Hand, who were searching for relics within the temple, she had to flee. And gradually her friends one by one kind of fell away. And then she met Mudbutt and realized that adventure didn't have to be grand or dangerous, that people who had experienced some hard things in their life could kind of find new peace. And so she kind of committed to a slightly more laid-back lifestyle and the foundation of New Winchester, which is how she finds herself here.
Huh. This is like really fucking me up because I'm just like trying to figure out how the hell there can only be one of me. And yet my mom knows me, but then my mom in the other world also like said, "Who are you?" But then also seemed to know that she was my mom.
Did she?
I don't know. Maybe that was just an assumption. Fuck.
Also, if we're tracking why there's one of you, similar to how Butthole was created in this realm so it doesn't exist in any other, Riker came to this realm and boned your mom. So you are born of a Riker from a different dimension and a mother from this dimension, meaning that for you to exist in any other world, a Riker or a Leondell from any of those worlds would have had to cross to a different world.
Cross dimensions.
So, yes, hence the one Allen problem.
That's complicated. Wow.
Yeah, Mudbutt, if you were in on this conversation, you would come to realize why Tiana kind of really likes you. Because honestly, things are a bit easier with Mudbutt.
Yeah, like, oh.
You get birds, you drink beers, sometimes you burn down a town. It's fine. It's fine. You do what you can.
Okay.
The 3 Bs.
So you are my mom. And you didn't try to kill me.
No. I mean, the day is young, but no.
So I really don't have to feel bad about trying to kill the other woman who wasn't my mom at all.
Oh, no. Honestly, if she was enslaving people, I'm glad you tried to kill her. That's terrible. No one should do that.
Well, honestly,
I hoped I'd always taught you that, but clearly she's an asshole.
I feel so much better, honestly.
Well, I'm good, honey. That's good. I'm glad to hear that. Here's a question, though. You ran away and never wrote. What the fuck? I've been so worried about you, and until I met Mudbutt, I thought maybe you were dead.
Well, like, I don't know. Why didn't you just, like, tell me about my dad earlier?
Okay.
Like, it's kind of on you.
Is it, though?
A little bit. Like, would it have been that hard to tell me?
Oh, hi, honey. Listen, good work on your I'm glad your acid splash is coming along. Listen, your dad's an interdimensional time traveler who maybe broke reality. We had a whirlwind romance where we went off on a series of crazy adventures. And then he left because interdimensional cops were chasing him. Is that really a thing you think you could have handled?
I don't know. Better than, like, you're an elf and forget that you're half human. Ha! Stay here and don't see the world at all. Bah!
Okay, cool. So, listen, I notice you've got a bunch of scars on your face and you're missing a hand. How's the seeing the world bit going for you there, honey?
It's been great. It's been fucking great.
All right. Cool. Well, good for you.
Thanks for asking.
I guess
We
in
can hear this
future
over at the bar.
you can just raise yourself. How about that? That's a great plan. You seem to know everything. You know what? I bet you took all of the careful control and lessons I taught you, and you've just been acing it, right? Like, you know exactly how to control your magic. You always use exactly as much. Yeah, you never apply excessive force. It's always exactly the right amount, right? Okay, good. Well, it seems like you can raise yourself. And honestly, I'm quite happy here. I'm fucking a dwarf. It's pretty dope. So, you know what? Welcome to New Winchester. And I'm glad I didn't try and kill you. I'm glad you're alive. But I think we're fucking done. And then she gets up and leaves.
Wow. That's great. She's in a fully sarcastic statement. She said, I'm glad that I'm alive. Oh, wonderful. This is fucking awesome.
I like that Alan's just saying this out loud to herself, sitting next to the fire.
As she walks over to an old dwarf man who is just like regaling the bartender about like the good old days.
God, this would be Juniper's form.
Yeah. This is Grandpa Warwick is just
Grandpa
like,
Warwick.
dwarves! My kin!
Mike, the elf, is just like, yep, okay, well, as long as you keep ordering, I'll keep serving. I do like the idea that Juniper gets, if Juniper gets drunk, she gets like loose with her transformations, and it's just like,
oh yeah, 100%.
You know, fuck it. You guys want to see something spooky? Hi. Okay, cool.
So Juniper can transform into things?
Juniper is a shapeshifter.
So I'm just
I'm
like,
not Juniper anymore.
so I'm looking at my beer, just being like, what the hell am I drinking?
Yeah, you're bummed that there's a cool drunken old man dwarf who lives in town that you've never met before. That seems great.
Wow.
So Mudbutt, Alan and her mom have been having it out. You're sitting with who you assume to be Butthole Farch and Quinny. So Quinny is wearing like a super cool cloak now. He's got like an eye patch. Looking a little worse for the wear. Butthole's looking pretty good, you know. He's looking sharp. He's dressed a bit different than last time, but I mean, really, who isn't? You say looking down at like the armor that the provisions officer from their caravan gave you, which is like Quinny sized. So it's kind of like you're wearing like one of those weird like crop top things, but if it was made of chainmail.
It's tight.
Yeah. So it just kind of reaches the top of your belly, and then we're just in loincloth town.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you live nearby. You can go get your stuff later, but like for now, just, you know.
I'm comfy.
Good
I'm
times with
fine.
good pals.
Oh, yeah.
So the thing is that you're starting to notice that Butthole is acting a bit weird. He seems a little bit cagey, and you remember him being so gregarious and nice. Mm-hmm. What Adam, the player, can know that Mudbutt, the character, can't, is that this is not, in fact, Butthole. This is a different fella by the name of Reginald, who is Butthole's brother, kind of from a different dimension. It's a long story. So just so like you as player are aware, but to Mudbutt, you're just like, he looks the same, so you're not sure what's going on.
Yeah. He doesn't have a lot of like facial recognition. So like if something kind of matches.
Yeah, it's like red beard, bald. Like, oh, you're the same.
Yeah. It's like, oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
He's the third person you've assumed to be Butthole since you last saw him.
Didn't I see you last week? Weren't you in the grocery store with me?
So I think Quinny and this is super dumb. Quinny and Reginald, you've been regaling Mudbutt with just getting him caught up to speed on what's been going on, which is a lot of Quinny explaining and a lot of Reginald nodding along. Reginald, do you think you'd be trying to contribute to this conversation at all?
No, I think at most you'd be getting like, yeah. Like just affirmative things from the side.
All right, so Quinny, you're just telling the story of what happened at the stack. So what do you think the highlights of that adventure would be that you'd tell Mudbutt?
I tell him about how it was like an underwater tower that was linked to a similar structure in another dimension, and that there was a portal down there that like linked these two worlds, and that magic users were being turned into like batteries, kind of on both ends, and that there is this one bad fella named Grayson Typhus. Both versions of him from our world and from that other world were both really awful. We killed the one from this world, but based on I don't know how much like this isn't butthole I want to give him to deal with. So I was like, based on some information we've recently received, the other Typhus is still at large, and it sounds like he's in our world.
Okay, so when you say linking worlds, is it kind of like how if I were to get a bar and then build like a tunnel to another bar, but like they both have the same drinks, but maybe they're like different prices?
It's exactly like that.
I understand it. Okay. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I get it. Hey, speaking of drinks here, hey, Mikey, I'm going to need you to bring over a couple, I uppercutted a dragon once. So,
he like nods and starts taking like a variety of crazy ingredients off the wall. And starts shaking them up. So, Alan, you come over to join Mudbutt and Reginald and Quinny. There's still a kind of horrible double vision thing that happens for you when you approach a conversation like this, because you see Butthole, and then it takes your brain just a second to be like, no, fuck, it's not though. Because weirdly, you haven't actually been without him for very long. So now that there's a guy who looks like him, it's very easy just from the corner of your eye. It very much feels kind of like old times to some extent.
Yeah.
So you pull in kind of quietly with your drink as Mikey brings over the uppercutted a dragon one time, which are served in tiny gauntlets that have been fused together, but they're still like little drips coming out of the fingers because those things never work.
we're working out the kinks, but
literally. Mudbutt, you actually, it's funny that Quinny brings up someone that they want to kill because you've had a plan for a while that you need their help with. Because the thing about weddings is you get to have a bachelor party.
Ooh.
And you invited them to it and they didn't come. So you just put it on hold because they're your best buds. But now that they're here, even though the wedding's already happened, you can finally have the bachelor party adventure you always dreamed of. And you were going to use it to break the news to Alan, but now that she already knows, it's some good father-daughter bonding time. So kind of like a fishing trip that neither party wants to be on.
Right.
Okay.
So
a Goofy movie.
yeah, so a Goofy movie. I still can't believe Goofy fucked someone. That really bums me out.
I think it's awesome.
He's also, if you look it up, 8 feet tall.
Gosh!
Goofy got a big old dick.
Yeah, it's canon.
Everyone deserves love, guys.
That's a red rocket.
Yeah, he just yells,
Stop.
"Woo-hoo-wee."
Stop.
We could do this all day.
No, please don't.
Stop.
Basically, the way this is going to work is Adam, as a player rather than the DM, obviously, you have not planned a bachelor party, but I have planned Mudbutt's bachelor party on your behalf. So the way we're going to kind of play this is you have a number of events lined up that you've wanted to do, and you're like, Mudbutt's been waiting for a chance. So what I'd like, just kind of for audio's sake, is for you to explain to them that it's bachelor party o'clock. And then I'll start to tell you what your itinerary is for this madcap bachelor party adventure that ends in something you've wanted for an awfully long time, the wedding gift that you were going to ask these guys for. So in your own words, if you could just tell these folks that you want to have a bachelor party and have them come along, that'd be great.
Okay. All right. Look, we're having a lot of fun here today, but let's just bring it down a wee bit of a notch here. So, as you know, I married Alan's mother, and I sent out some invites for a bachelor party, but you guys didn't respond. That was little bit of a gut punch there. It's not like I had just lost to Richard or anything like that. Anyway, so, but hey, I'm fine. I'm fine with that. And I just like chug down I uppercutted a dragon. Hey, yeah, I'm going to need I totally took out a group of orcs by myself. If you could there, Mike. Anyway.
He just pours wine. Oh, brings it over.
Thank you. This is our simplest drink. Yeah, but I said, since we're all here, I saved my bachelor party just for this moment, and I figured that we could all get a little nutty, but also, and I reach over to Alan and I like pull a quarter from behind her ear, do some bonding. And then I give her the quarter. I was like, what?
I'm speechless. And I put it in my pocket.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah, but you definitely take that as like she's really impressed.
Yeah, it's like,
no, I just like have no money.
So Mudbutt, you turn to Butthole, your bestest bud, and this is a moment you've been waiting for a long time. You put your hand on his shoulder, and it's time to ask him to be your best man.
Now, look there, buddy. When you found me back in Phandalin, I was kind of lost, and well, you and your old bud there, Moonhammer, kind of inspired me to pull up my socks and just heck, I don't know what I'm trying to say. Would you be my best man?
Reginald,
I kind of aside to Quinny and just say like, should we tell him?
Just let this play out. Let's see how he does.
Reginald, the man who tried to kill you, has his hand on your shoulder.
Well, I mean, ever since I found you in Phandalin, where you looked so lost and your socks were so low down and needed to be pulled up. Mm-hmm. And I mean, it was great because my buddy Moonhammer was there, and we've all had such a significant relationship that's defined by other things that, you know what, it would take a long time to say them all in this speech. So I am such a butthole. I agree.
Hooray! And I give him a big
This is
hug.
wrong on so many levels.
I give him a big old hug. It's just like the old you.
I hug him back, and my hands are trembling just a little bit away from him that the other two can see, but he can't tell.
Known for his tremendous and unpredictable rage, it occurs to both Quinny and Alan that letting him know this isn't Butthole might not be the way to go. Also, Quinny, as someone who's always eyeing what people have in case you might steal it, you start thinking about that bird skull that he seems to wear.
Yep, been thinking about it.
Cool. So with that, Mudbutt promises that the adventure will begin in the morning, so you have an evening to kind of tuck in. He's kind of apologetic though, because he got t-shirts made, but not enough for Juniper. So unfortunately, she's going to have to sit this one out. This is a D&D classic party, except for the charlatan.
That's okay. I'm staying here with Mike. We're swapping stories.
Yeah. And then Mike's like, so wait, you tried to enter the temple as an old man that just shot you?
I know, I was confused too.
What a bunch of pricks. He says, here, have a stuff a guy in a barrel to death cocktail. And he just like pours beer in a barrel and hands it to you.
This is gonna be a doozy.
So with that, all of you retire to kind of what it's like. It's not so much an inn as sort of a bunch of sort of single room cottages, and you can finally kind of get tucked in for the night. Mudbutt, is there anything you want to prep with these guys before your adventure, or is this just kind of you're glad they're on side, you're ready to rock and roll?
I guess I want to tell them to like bring their armor, like bring their finest armor, and if they want to give me a gift, they could give me a gift.
Amazing. So with that, all of you get a chance to turn in for the evening. Juniper is drinking the night away with Mike. Reginald, what do you do this evening?
Well, I mean, he's very busy panicking. That's very much where he lives. I feel like he would try to read some of the Forsaken's book to try to figure out who he's looking at impersonating, but he also doesn't really have the attention span to do that. So he'd kind of flip through it a little bit. And then another thing he'd probably try to do for research, because he's got an ability called grim psychometry or psychometry or whatever, where he can touch items and then know their dark past if he like delves deep inside himself. I think he would assume that the flaming warhammer he has is some part of the legacy of this guy he's dealing with. So, I mean, he doesn't know he's wrong, but he would dive deep into that. So I can run a history check to recall information about dark objects, and what I will know focuses on the darker aspects of the history and can convey images or history the character wasn't previously aware of on higher rolls. So let's find out what I know.
What the hell?
That is a dirty 20.
Wow.
What's the history of the hammer you invented for a character I hadn't met? Well, glad you asked.
Which, admittedly, he also just said he stole. So it could be whatever you want.
Let me flip to the page in my book where I have that written.
Tom has
Still
a plan for all
flipping.
contingencies.
Okay, so you get glimpses of an abandoned shack in the woods, like a cabin in the woods kind of situation. It was you feel humidity on your skin, and almost as you breathe in and out. I kind of imagine this in like Harry Potter doing the brain water thing, where the pensive, whatever the fuck, where it's just like, okay, you just get to hang out in this scene Scrooge style while things happen around you in like spooky, I'm wearing the one ring of power vision. So you get the sensation of humidity, and there's a sort of a group of voices, and you hear one of them say like, I can't believe the commander's gone. That the Fries stand without a leader. I don't even know what we shall do. And then you hear a voice say, they killed my sister. I will not allow you, me too, to go unavenged. And another voice says, yes, the Commander Potatoes may be gone, but we, the Fries, are not. And then you hear like an alarmingly normal voice just kind of go, yeah, guys, that's entirely true. And I really think we need to, just unleash a little bit of vengeance on the dum-dums. Okay? And there's grunts of agreement. And then someone's like, hang on, I got to take a piss. And you see a troll come out, but he's like a troll wearing essentially like tactical combat gear. So there's like a lot of unnecessary pouches. It kind of looks like Rob Liefeld drew him. And he's got a massive Warhammer. Or no, sorry, not a Warhammer. It was a mace, right?
No, it's a Warhammer.
Is it Warhammer? Okay.
Yeah.
And he's using sort of a glowing orb of fire on top of it to kind of guide his way. And he just yells back over his shoulder like, yeah, we'll move against them soon. The Fries will rise again. All right, great. And he stuffs it down into the ground, and he goes and unzips his fly and starts peeing against a tree. And then as he's doing so, he lets out just like a proper squeaky fart that ignites just a blast of flame off the top of his hammer. And he's like, oh, glad it was facing the other way. And then you see a goblin peek up out of the bushes and kind of like almost like his eyes wide. And you just hear him say, bless my bumhole. And as almost faster than your eyes can see, the goblin scurries out of the bushes, grabs the hammer, and just starts dragging it and running away into the trees. And when the troll turns back around, it's gone. And he's like, ah, shit. It's the third hammer this week. He does up his fly. He goes back and he's like, guys, I lost another magic item. Looks like we're going to have to do another raid. And you hear collective groans. And someone says, okay, fine. Vengeance soon. Hammers now. And then you wake back up looking at the weapon, which you now see actually has an insignia on the bottom that seems to be kind of a number of lines, and it says in dramatic font, fries. It's just on the bottom of the hilt. It means absolutely nothing to you, but that is what you find.
Alrighty, so that didn't tell me much. So I think I would have to go talk to Quinny and be like, all right, so here's the deal. I don't actually know anything about this butthole, and I don't really care to read, so I'm going to need you to tell me how to make this lie work. Also, I'm not going to remember very much, so I'm going to need like maybe a top 3, maybe a top 5 things I should know, and then I'll just kind of lean on those and hand wave the rest.
Top 3? All right. You love Moonhammer. She's your patron god, and you invoke her name at the drop of a fucking hat.
Because, I mean, I did flip through the book, and it said that I hate Moonhammer for betraying me. And now the Mudbutt said that Moonhammer was my best friend. And, I mean, it sounds like probably another person that I hung out with, right? Like, it was just like me, and then... Was Moonhammer the goblin? I saw a goblin steal this hammer. Was that Moonhammer? Just a small goblin?
When did you see that?
Oh, I've got this thing where I can touch stuff and sort of remember the darker parts of its history. First of all, that was a roller coaster ride. So much better than most of the stuff I touch, which is full of murder. I saw a goblin, and then there's something about the fries, and they were swearing vengeance because of you, me too, and the commander.
Oh, shit. Oh, God. Is there any way that you would know when that happened?
Well, I mean, before the goblin took the hammer. So, I mean... I
don't know how long he had that thing for, but great. Okay, so we're potentially being hunted by...
Oh, yeah, my guess is it's very active. But, I mean, theoretically, they're looking for the dum-dums. I don't know who those guys are, but I'm pretty smart, so I feel like I'm safe.
You look like one of the... If not... you look like the biggest dum-dum, actually.
Oh, my God. I need to disguise myself, but if I disguise myself now, Mudbutt will know that I'm not Bud. No. I can't do it. This is a problem.
Right now.
Okay.
All right, but repeat back to me what the first major point is, so I know you've got it.
I'm the biggest dum-dum.
No, Reginald. I mean, yes, but Moonhammer, Reginald. Moonhammer is your god, Butthole's god.
Oh,
he loves her, and he invokes her name all the time, attacking, blessing, all that kind of stuff.
Reginald, can you roll me an intelligence save?
Yes, I can.
Quinny, what's your charisma?
Just the modifier, or
no, your hard score.
It's an 18.
Okay,
I scored a 16.
16. Okay, you're mostly keeping up.
Okay, good. Love Moonhammer, a god. Her.
I think it clicks in your head that if you can swap out Horde with Moonhammer, then you've probably got a safe go-to.
Horde Hammer. Got it. This makes sense to me. All right. So, okay, number 2.
You are all about making new friends. You love it.
Oh,
you basically give everyone the benefit of the doubt, at least at first, and then you won't shy away from murder if people kind of disappoint you and let you down. But it's usually, repeat after me. Oh, God. Hello. New friend. A little happier, a little more energy. Bring it up.
Hello,
bring it up a few notches.
New friend. Happy.
Okay, we'll workshop it a little. It's a little better, but that's about.
So I say that right. A lot.
You say it a lot.
What do I say to old friends?
You usually try and kiss them. I hate it, but yes, it's true.
Wow, this guy is weird. Okay,
Dude, tell me about it.
What's the third thing? I'm just gonna write kissing.
You're all about unions. Any kind of disenfranchised group of workers who is not having their rights respected by employers, or even worse, their owners, or whatever happens to be, you feel compelled to step in, help the people free themselves from the shackles of capitalism. And
so I'm sort of a communist.
Yeah, sort of.
Okay. Pro-union, anti-capitalist. I understand that you think these are like the top 3 things, but most of this doesn't feel like it's going to apply. I'm going to check in with Alan here. Don't worry, I'll handle it. You're doing great.
I'm just going to tell you, he makes it like his thing. Like, you would think it wouldn't come up. You would think, why would anyone need to know my opinion on unions? He makes it known.
Okay.
These are the 3 things I tell you right now. He wears all 3 of this shit on his sleeve.
Okay, Alan, he'll go over, and he's got like a flaming warhammer. He has disadvantage on stealth at all times. There's not really possible to sneak as Reginald. But he's going to go over to Alan at the bar and be like, Alan, so apparently I need to pretend to be a bumhole or whatever his name is, so I'm going to nail this. I talked to Quinny, and I got like 3 things I should remember. But I figured these might be too weird, so I wanted to check in with you to fill out my like top 5 butthole tricks. Oh, God, that's disgusting. How did you guys do this for so long? Okay, so I've got Moonhammer, love.
Yeah.
I've got a lot of kissing. Oh, just a second. And then I lean in and I just try to kiss Alan.
We don't have to. We're not greeting. Like, it's usually when you haven't seen someone for a long time and you're greeting them again.
Oh, okay.
And there's a lot of like tongue action on teeth. Like, you basically have to count their teeth with your tongue.
Oh my God! Why did you people hang out with this guy? Terrible.
But you notice the timeline for this conversation is kind of over the course of the evening. You notice Butthole kind of go in for the kiss with Alan, and you just file that away as like, maybe he's courting your daughter piece. So just something to keep in mind. You're not entirely sure, but it's worth noting, particularly given the wild hijinks you have planned for your bachelor party. You're just gonna have to keep an eye on that because
I'm full protective father, like right now. I'm just like, nobody smooches my daughter.
She wasn't my daughter a year ago, but damn it.
Yeah. No, I have all these memories that I'm kind of just forcing upon myself of like helping.
The only penis she'll ever see is mine.
In a healthy familial
man,
way.
I hate this.
All right, and then apparently
this is just full on
I
American
kinda
Gothic.
Just like, I'm keeping an eye on him.
Yeah.
Apparently, I'm also pro-union, but you got 2 more
Yep.
things. Like, I want to round out who this guy is.
Really, any magic you do is fart based.
Oh my God!
So it's like fart and poop. Like there's a lot of
poop-based.
flatulence.
This is disgusting. For fart and poop.
But it's
Magic.
not done in a malicious way. Like,
I gotta
to be
just
clear.
take a second here. For those of you only listening, you've got to watch the video to see Ryan kind of confront the ridiculousness of his own character. It's fantastic.
This is disgusting. Again, why would you hang out with this guy? This guy sounds awful. I would send him on a patrol where I hoped he didn't come back. It would be a lot less farty and
effective.
unionized.
He has saved our lives multiple times by literally farting into our faces.
Oh, God. I'm going to tell you right now, this is going to be bad if I have to do it. You realize my magic is blood-based, right? So I have to fart blood. Nope, we're living with it. This is the world I've been given.
no.
What's the 5th thing?
You've got some real parental issues. But you don't want to talk about them. Actually, just family issues in general.
So avoid talking
Whole family's kind of
about daddy.
like evil and has like hurt the people you love, but you also think your mom's okay, even though she's probably really evil.
I mean, that's the same as my regular life, so that's fine. I don't know my mom. I assume she's great. My dad's a giant penis, but I mean, he's also the only reason I'm not dead. So don't talk about him unless you have to call in a favor.
Yeah, because your dad's dead. So.
Oh.
Okay.
How'd he die? I didn't think anything could kill Daddy.
You don't want to talk about it.
No, but I want to talk about it as Reginald. What killed Daddy? He told me nothing could kill him.
I think from what I've told, it was you. Is that what happened, Quinny? I wasn't there.
So Quinny's here, and he'll say,
I don't know exactly how. I don't know exactly how it happened.
Yeah, this world's Archibald Tingler is dead, and I know it's kind of starting to sound like the same story, but over and over again. But we killed him.
But like, how did you kill him? Because back in my world, whoo, that guy's doing great.
I'll tell you, it wasn't easy. I mean, we all almost died. We basically hacked away at his typical human mortal form, and then he turned into some kind of giant demon. That was horrifying. And we just wailed on him until, I don't know, I was kind of magically terrified for a minute there, and also had to break a spell on one of my best friends. It's a whole deal. But enough magical brute force seemed to eventually do the trick.
I lost my hand.
Yeah, Alan lost her hand.
It sounds like your lives are both disgusting and incredibly dangerous. Why don't you just hide? There's no war here. You don't have to be in a war. You can just stay home. Did you have a home? Either of you? Did you come from a place? I mean, I heard you yelling about a temple and then sort of picking a fight with your mom. What about you, Quinny? When did you decide I need to fight everything ever?
Yeah, I haven't really reflected on it much, but I actually ran away from home because it was boring, and this was the life of adventure I desired. I gesture to my vacant eye socket.
What are you talking? So I assumed everyone here's parents were like weird murderers for the god of war. That's the only reason you go out and choose this life.
Yeah, I was just kind of sheltered and wanted to see the world.
My parents grow pumpkins. Got a pumpkin patch.
I'm going to tell you guys both right now. I may have to be the butthole for the next couple of days, but I'll tell you, you're both the real buttholes. And then he'll just order like 5 beers for each hand. Like Reginald's getting wasted now. He didn't realize he was with crazy people.
My butt, can you please roll me a perception check?
With a D20? Yeah?
Yep.
All right. I got 11. And my perception...
Yeah, I'm sorry. The sheet's a little bit differently arranged than a normal D&D sheet. Right. I apologize.
1, so I guess 12 perception.
Okay, so the way we're going to kind of play these checks is to determine how much or how little of Reginald not being butthole you catch in any given situation. With the 12, I'll say you notice that Reginald storms up to the bar and orders 5 beers with each hand. And that strikes you as odd because, like, he knows the Southern Dwarven term. And it's just odd that he wouldn't use it. So that's just we're going to call these points. So add 1 point to your sheet there.
All right, I'll make a note.
Yep.
Also, where's my wife?
She went back to the Temple of Ogma. You've had conversations over some time about her kind of anxiety about what Alan's up to and her hopes that she's okay, and she's kind of reflected on how overly strict she was back when they lived together. So I think after the bar, you go to the temple to find her, and you find her in there's sort of a space at the back where there's like a studio set up, and she is sort of basically like throwing paint essentially at a canvas using mage hand. So she's clearly kind of like trying to work out some shit on canvas. But this is kind of where she comes to reflect. So you kind of walk in, and that's what she's doing. You can tell she's pretty upset.
Hey, babe. Oh, how's it going?
Hey, sweetiekins. It's tough. I kind of hoped for a nicer reunion than that, but she's really mad, and I made a lot of mistakes, and I guess she's just not interested in forgiving me for them. So paint, and then she just like throws a fistful of paint at the wall.
The only mistake you made was being human. All right, and I kind of started like giving her like a little back massage, just kind of calm her down a little bit, and I'm just like,
what a thing to say to an elf.
Oh wait, no, it's human. You know what I mean. You know what I do.
I know. Yeah.
Look, I've just been drinking a lot, so for me to be standing here doing this is an accomplishment in itself. But look, as her dad, why don't you let me talk to her? I think I can kind of get her on, Team Us, if you know what I mean.
Oh, thanks, Mudbutt. I never thought that I would have a partner who could step in and do the emotional lifting of mending a relationship. But I'm glad to have found you. And of course, you little Richard. And she pokes your beard. And Adam, what is the sickeningly sweet pet name you have for Tiana?
Well, she's an elf, right? So her name, what's her full name? Like Tiana?
Tiana Lyondell. Or Leondell.
Oh, I call her my lioness.
Okay, so she's like, "Rawr," and then as she does so, the mage hand throws paint on the ground. She's like, "Oh shit! Oh, okay. I'll use a different mage hand to clean that up." And she'll call you her muddy buddy. She's like, "Okay, muddy buddy. Well, thank you. That's I really appreciate that. No, you guys have fun. Remember, full hall passes in effect, whatever you want to do. Okay by me. We're both enlightened people. So you go nuts. I always felt badly that you didn't get a proper rager before our wedding. I know how much you love to rage. So,
oh, you know me so well.
So I'll go get the t-shirts from storage, and we'll get you all set up.
All right, I'm going to go pass out, and we'll wake up in the morning.
Sounds good. I'll get water ready.
Thank you.
So, so that you go and pass out, and the rest of you kind of settle back into your places for the night. Reginald, is there anything else you wanted to do now that you've kind of got some basic info?
I feel like he'll run over the basics for himself. He's just going to make sure that he's like got notes. He'll do the classic, like you write notes on your arm in ink, just so he's got his like 5 major points ready to go. And then he's got to like prep his gem powers for the next day. For those of you playing at home, I'm just using mutagen craft and deciding that instead of it being like some sort of vial, it's a gem that he snorts out of.
As we have established, Reginald is like to do.
Yes, exactly. Loves snorting all things. And I think he's just going to like nervously try to sleep, but not like he's very scared and he plays blowhard, but he is not a blowhard in the sense of like, he's like if Zap Brannigan had Kiff's personality underneath, but everyone thought he was Zap Brannigan.
Yeah.
So he's kind of quaking in his armor. And
he's Zap Brannigan when he realizes that champagne is not pronounced champagne. Yes. Like, oh God. Great. Okay. Great. Quinny, you're retired to your little cabin. This has been a big day for you as well.
Yeah.
And also you're still pretty fucked up. So this is the first time you actually get to recover. What's going through Quinny's mind right now, do you think?
It's like, okay, keep it together. It's just a bachelor party. It's a fun party. It's a fun time. Little R&R won't hurt the group. Take a little break from being the worst fucking king ever to, and all we have to do is, we came to this town to rest up and stuff like that. We also need to lay low. We need to come up with a plan to figure out what's going on with Butthole, what's going on with Moonhammer. And that's going to take time. So in the meantime, it's good for the group to relax. And it's good to know that Mudbutt is safe and alive and kind of flourishing in his new kingdom. So it's just kind of like, I think he's probably saying these things like out loud to himself, like in a mirror, as I think he's practicing like a few like dance steps.
I was gonna say, great.
Just dancing it out a little, and trying to just get to a place where he can sleep. Just kind of addressing all of the little fires in his brain and trying to put them out. And being like, this is okay. This is under control. This is fine. This is fine. This is fine.
Alan, what do you do before you go to bed?
I'm honestly like, I'm pretty calm now. I'm like free of the guilt of like thinking that I tried to like kill my mother and had this like huge confrontation with her. And it's just like, I'm still kind of as pissed at my mom as I was when I left. Maybe even more so. So it's just like, yeah, not looking to repair that relationship anytime soon. So I'm just gonna prepare some spells.
Cool.
And sleep like a fucking baby.
So with that, all of you kind of tuck in for the evening and get some rest. The morning comes and you all assemble in various states of hungover or anxiety, or in some cases like restful states. As Mudbutt gives you the rough itinerary of what you're going to get up to. He has planned a full weekend, and we'll get into the actual hard details of that next episode. But it sounds like a fun, somewhat relaxing weekend. And Quinny, slowly, like, your shoulders start to relax. He's talking about brunch. He's talking about, traveling around in a nice vehicle. And he's talking about renting he's got nice accommodations planned. There's going to be some gambling involved. Like, everything seems great. And
perfect.
For just a hot second, it seems fine. But then he explains what his wedding gift from all of you is going to be, and what the ultimate culmination of the bachelor party is. And he pulls out a picture of Igneous Plantier, and with a smile on his face, he says, "We're finally going to kill that wizard who burned down my town."
Ooh.
It was a nice feeling while it lasted.
As long as we do it with friends. And then I kiss Mudbutt.
This episode of Dum-Dums and Dragons features the voices of Ryan LaPlante at the Ryan LaPlante on Twitter, Tyler Hewitt at Tyler_Hewitt on Twitter, Laura Hamstra at EL Hamstring on Twitter, our special guest, and our DM Tom McGee at McGeeTD on Twitter. This episode's sound was edited and mixed by Laura Hamstra, and Dum-Dums and Dragons artwork is by Del Borovic, who can be found at delborovic.com. Our theme songs are And Now for That Massive Coronary and Skipping Through the Orchestra Pit Part 1 by Peter Gresser, and our ad music is No Control and Chiefs by Jazzar, JAHZZAR, all available at freemusicarchive.org. When it comes to Dum-Dums and Dice, you can visit our website at dumdumdice.com. Our Twitter and Instagram are at dumdumdice, and on Facebook at facebook.com/dumdumdice. But most importantly, we've got merchandise at redbubble.com/people/dumdumdice, or you can join our Patreon at patreon.com/dumdumdice. That's DUMBDUMBDICE. And tune in next week for more Dum-Dums and Dragons. Dum-Dums and Dice has to give a special thank you to the supreme beings of our Patreon at this time: Christian Menicola, Long, the Half-Blind Prophet, James Cuellar, DM Rob, Christopher Little, Joshua White, Olin Anderson, Sue One, Devin Boyce, George Dolby, One True Artistry, and Jill and Noel LaPlante. If you want your name to be added to this list, you can join our Patreon too at patreon.com/dumdumdice. Thanks to them, and a little bit of thanks to you.